of porno. Yeah. Yeah, the guy's a real... Is known around Hollywood as the king of porno. Yeah. Yeah, the guy's a real freako, the king of porno, and we're going to try to put this guy out of business once and for all, and all of his crummy friends. We should lock them all up for the rest of their stinking lives. King of porno is going to be here, William Margold. Oh boy, hardly wait. So stand by for that. Now, everybody, Wally George here with the Wally George Great American Radio Show. And we're talking now for a while about pornography, which I said a little earlier, I think should be outlawed. We're going to get you involved, and you can tell me what you think about porno. By the way, we have a line open in Orange County in the 714 area code. It's 977-KLAC. 977-KLAC out in Orange County. Okay, now I'm going to introduce a man who produces pornography films. He stars in his own films. Oh, boy. William Margold is here. How are you, Bill?
Oh, I'm good. I'm great.
Yeah, boy. You know what, Bill? I've had you on my TV show a couple of times, and every time I see you, I get a little more sickened because you are so proud of this lousy, rotten business that you're in, which is so degrading to this wonderful country. Pornography. You're proud of pornography.
There's nothing degrading about sex. I'm an entertainer. I'm like Reggie Jackson, except I play with a different type of bat and a different type of balls.
All right, I don't want to hear that. But what I'm saying, there is something degrading about pornography because sex is not meant to be dirty and filthy.
We're not dirty and filthy. We're performing decent acts in front of the camera.
Oh, decent acts. Well,
decent acts.
All these raunchy, filthy...
Adult, decent acts.
All these raunchy positions you put these women in.
They're having fun. They're being paid.
But sex is meant to be beautiful. It's meant to be an expression of love between two people who love each other. You have made sex dirty, degrading, filthy, and I think you should
I've turned it into lust. And there's lust in everybody's soul.
It's not supposed to be lust.
Of course it's supposed to be lust. Aren't we allowed to have lust? Aren't we allowed to dream? Aren't we allowed to have sexual fantasies? We are a catharsis. We get America off, not out in the street like Rambo with a hatchet in its hand.
It's supposed to be love, and I'll tell you, right now, the Attorney General of the United States of America, Edwin Meese, is going to put people like you out of business. I'll tell you.
Well, seemingly that's his desire, and he was warned when I testified in front of the Meese Commission that if indeed he succeeds in driving us back underground where we came from, then he will unleash the hounds of hell. We're better off left alone where we are than being driven back underground, because underground is where the spurious pornography is created.
Well, I'll tell you what the Attorney General is saying is absolutely correct. We have got to take a stand. We have got to say that this moral country, the United States of America, will not tolerate filthy, rotten pornography anymore, and I will help the Attorney General lead this movement to make pornography illegal in the United States of America, so people like you will have to either close up shop or go in the slammer.
But nobody forces anybody to watch what we do. No one drags them in off the street. No one forces them into an adult bookstore. America has a dirty mind, and as long as America has a dirty mind, we will attempt to satiate that dirty mind.
You may have a dirty mind.
I don't have a dirty mind. I think sex is healthy, wholesome, and a whole lot of fun.
Not your kind of sex.
What kind of sex? What are you talking about? I don't perform anything with animals or kids. That we abhor. The XRCO, the X-Rated Critics Organization, the Adult Film Association of America, 976 XRCO are all vehemently opposed to any aberrant sexual situations. We promote heterosexual and occasionally homosexual acts between consenting adults.
But the kind of picture that you paint is so horrifying. I've seen some of the stuff that you do and other porno films. I have gone just to, I don't criticize anything that I don't see for myself, and I have seen the kind of stuff that you and people like you put out, and I'll tell you frankly, it makes me sick to my
stomach. You've gone to the wrong films. We put out 10,000 of them in films like Deep Throat 2, Every Woman Has a Fantasy, Sexually Altered States, Fantasy Follies. Great films in the categories of Unnatural Phenomenon 1 and 2. Those are legendary videos and theatrical ventures that would entertain anybody.
But the kind of things you do to women,
What do we do to women? They are paid, they volunteer, they come in, they are actresses.
You degrade them, you put chains on them and ropes, and you have them...
With their consent.
Yeah, but how?
With their consent.
But what kind of women are they who give their consent? They're
actresses,
animals.
performers.
They're animals.
We're all animals.
No, you
We're
are...
all animals. These are just women who desire to be exhibitionistic animals.
You people don't deserve the word human being. You are animals.
We are performers.
I mean,
we are creators, carnal creators.
Carnal, yeah, you can call it that, but it not only is degrading, but I'll tell you, what pornography is doing, it's not catering to the decent, moral people in this country. It's catering to perverts and sickos and rapists and sadists and molesters.
Then you're saying 60 to 70% of the nation are perverts and sickos and rapists and
I don't believe
various aberrant situations. We have the bookstores, the adult video bookstores are in by the volumes. People pour in and pick up the tapes. They come in and they get Bambi and they get Debbie Does Dishes in Dallas.
Well, I'll tell you what. The kind of people that I see walking into these video stores are
normal, healthy American, red-blooded, defenders of the flag citizens.
We'll see about that when we go to the phones, and we'll see the kind of people.
And speaking of defenders of the flag, they defended the flag so we can produce this type of material and freedom of speech, freedom of creativity.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Pornography is not only horrifying and degrading to America, but it also is very harmful, as the Attorney General said.
No one ever died from an overdose of pornography.
Yes.
No one ever died from an overdose of pornography.
Some people have been killed by rapists who viewed pornography and then got...
We are a catharsis.
No.
Those studies only prove what they want to prove. They are not factually based.
Let me read to you a little study that we have here.
Those are bleating feminist swine who are anti-sex, anti-human.
No, these are doctors. Now, this is a report...
Because their doctors are sanctified?
No, let me read you what some doctors have to say who have investigated pornography. Dr. Robert Morrison of New York says this, quote, "Hardcore pornography is for antisocial people who can't make it with real people, so they have to watch actors do it on the screen. I believe the decline of morals in this country is due largely to what young people are permitted to read in magazines and see on their television screens. Pornography is a disturbing, violent reality in American life."
But newsreels are pornographic.
Now, this is what else he says about pornography. Violence is only a small part of the damage pornography causes. It also wreaks havoc on naive people who fall for the false promise of anything goes sex life. And how do you answer that?
The thing is, we allow people to live out their fantasies through our videos and through our films. People who see what we do not act it out. They get off behind it and they go to sleep very happy with a smile on their face.
Okay, here's a Dr. S.A. Green, who investigated pornography, and he says, quote, Dr. Green is a psychologist, "I agree there's a link between pornography and violent crime. People with violent tendencies are attracted to this type of material, and prolonged exposure can lead them to act out their fantasies."
And prolonged exposure to the sun can lead to skin cancer. This is ridiculous. Pornography is blamed for everything. If the Lakers lose tomorrow, they'll blame it on pornography.
All right, now, here's something else that I want you to respond to. They interviewed a few people who were exposed to pornography. And this was a woman. And she said, in this study of porno, she said, "I was married to a man who was addicted to porn. I tolerated it at first because it seemed harmless, but soon his choice of material got raunchier and he developed an obsession to act out his fantasies. Our sex life became a nightmare. It became sadistic and cruel from his watching pornography videos." Now, how do you answer that?
The woman obviously is fantasizing something that never took place. She says what the interviewer wants to hear. I guarantee you that was taken out of context.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Here's another one. This is from a lady who says porn is like drugs. This young lady was interviewed by Dr. Morrison, and she told him, "Doctor, porn is like drugs. You start with something mild, then you go on to the harder stuff." Now listen to this. This is from a young lady. "My father started watching nude pictures. I used to find him hiding in the closet looking at pictures. Then he moved on to videos. And it was so perverted you wouldn't believe it. After watching porn videos for some time, he began molesting my 2 little sisters. He tried it with me once, but I yelled and made him stop.
I guarantee you,
Now,
pornography did not do that to the man. There are certain people who are already over the brink way before anything we create or you create enters into the picture.
You don't know what the heck you're talking about,
Oh, yes,
Margot.
I do.
Because
no one has ever come up to me and said, I've ruined their life. Let's put it that way.
these doctors, these
Where did you
psychologists...
get out of the National Enquirer?
These psychologists who read...
Or is that the Star or the Globe?
No, it isn't. It's from a national magazine, and these doctors who examine pornography say that, yes, it does lead people to committing rape.
It's a catharsis. 100% cathartic.
I tend to believe the psychologists. I don't tend to believe...
Of course you tend to believe the psychologists. I wouldn't doubt you if you did.
I don't believe scum like you. Now, I wonder how you feel about pornography. I say, let's outlaw it. Let's throw these guys out of business. If you want to talk to me about it, here's the numbers. In the 213 or the 818 area code, it's 520-KLAC. 520-KLAC for Los Angeles and the San Fernando Valley. If the lines are busy, keep on trying. Out in Orange County, the 714 area code, it's 977-KLAC, 977-KLAC. We'll get to your phone calls in just a moment. Stay where you are. Wally George here on KLAC. Wrangler. KLAC, the great station, the great country music station. Remember, 24 hours a day, we play country music, and on Mondays we talk on the Great American Radio Show for 3 hours from 7 until 10 p.m. You'll be here with me and tell your friends about it. Next Monday we'll be on late. We'll be on after the Rams game at approximately 10 o'clock. Next Monday night from 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock in the morning, and then the following week we'll go back to our regular time. Don't forget, I'm also on television every day, Monday through Friday at 4:30. Until 5, we do the Hot Seat Hotline on KDOC TV, Channel 56, 4:30 every day, Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday night, we do my big nationally syndicated Hot Seat show from 11 until 12 midnight every Saturday night with my live studio audience. And I'll tell you, they are the best audience in the whole world as we fry those liberals on the hot seat. Saturday night, 11 to 12. On KDOC TV, Channel 56. You be there. We'll be looking for you. All right, now, we're talking to William Margold, who is known as the King of Porno. And, William...
you know, Wally, you give me that title, the King of Porno, and you're the only one who calls me that. The King of Porno is John Holmes. There's one and only king in the industry.
Well,
I appreciate it. You might call me the Renaissance man of porn, or the bad boy, or the Peter Pan.
Well, you've been in it for a heck of a long...
15 years.
15 years.
And I'd look none the worse for wear and tear.
I wish people could see how raunchy you really look.
How raunchy do I look?
You look like a pervert, but you look... You really do.
Am I a mirror image?
Yeah, I'll tell you what really bothers me, though, is I want to know where you find these girls. You probably go down to hang around down at the bus depot and try to find these poor little innocent teenage girls who come into town looking for work in the movies, and you lure them in with your
That's the real world. We're not the real world, Wally. And as I ran an agency, the biggest agency in the world for 10 years, there were ads in the papers, and the girls would come and see me, and I would warn them what the industry would do to them. I would warn them it would haunt them the rest of their life.
You warned
I did not.
them?
Oh, absolutely. I would not let anybody into the industry until they knew what it would do to them. But when they came in not for the money and not for the sex, but for the glory. I can make people immortal. I can make them stars.
What kind of...
I can make them self-esteem worthy.
You can make them tramps.
Oh, absolutely not. I can make them actresses. I can make them stars. I can give them some self-worth. How many places can you go and get self-worth?
How can you say that you can give these little porno starlets self-worth?
Come to a bookstore when one of these porno starlets signs 1,000 to 2,000 autographs in an afternoon.
Yeah.
Come to the CES show, the Consumer Electronics Show, and watch 5,000 people line up to get an autograph from the likes of Vanessa Del Rio or Tracy Adams or Marilyn Chambers. We are legend. We are history.
But what you have done to these women who...
I have done nothing that they didn't want done to themselves.
Yes, you have.
Oh, absolutely
not. You
not.
have poisoned them. You have made them filthy creatures. And one day, when they get a little older and they get married and perhaps want to have children, then the shame is going to hit them when they realize what they are, that they someday may have to tell their kids that mommy was a porno star.
I warned them about that, and many of them are very objective. And in fact, right now, there are porn stars having babies. There is a whole new generation situation. People have finally realized that they can have kids and bring them into the industry and be mothers as porn stars as well.
Well, I don't believe that. Let's go to the phones and and see what people are thinking about this. Hello, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, Wally. This is Mike from L.A.
Yes, Mike. What do you think about this? Do you want to talk to Bill?
No, I just wanted to ask you a question.
All right.
I wanted to know why all of us have to suffer just because your sex life isn't that great.
What are you talking about?
Why can't we all just, you know, have this?
Hey, wait a
just
minute.
because your sex life isn't
Just a moment,
that great
pal.
and you don't happen to
You don't know
like
anything about my sex
this
life.
certain thing. Just because you're not having the greatest time, why does all of us have to suffer?
Well, how old are you?
What?
How old are you?
I'm 22. How old are you?
You sound like
65?
you sound like you're about 13.
You sound like you're 78.
Now, why do you say that because of me? Listen, there's nothing wrong with me.
There's nothing wrong with pornography. It doesn't do anything wrong to anyone.
Oh no! Listen,
Oh no!
Hey, pal, listen. If you have to use pornography to get excited enough to have sex, then there's something wrong with you. You see, I don't happen to need that to make me excited.
Pornography is like gasoline. You put gasoline in your car to get to one place to another. X-rated films get you to a certain point where you can have some more fun.
Hey, do you need this to get yourself worked up to?
It's a salt. It's a spice.
I'm talking to my caller. Are you still there, caller? No, of course not. He hung up because he's so ashamed of himself. He's so ashamed he finally hung up. Of course. Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello. Hello, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, this is Henry from Hollywood.
Yes, go ahead, Henry.
I once met Mr. Margot.
Oh boy,
And,
what a thrill, huh?
Yeah, well, I think he's a nice man.
Oh,
First,
really?
Let's start it that way.
Oh, well.
He printed one of my articles in Hollywood Press.
Who are you?
I'm just I could maybe you could count me as maybe an acquaintance. I hope.
I know exactly who he is, and he's a person highly reflective of the audience that enjoys good sexual stimulation. His second article will appear in the Hollywood Press on Wednesday.
What kind of articles do you write, Henry?
Well, I've written a critique, basically about the industry and
The porno industry?
Yeah, and basically
Tell me one thing.
Excuse me. Basically,
excuse
one of my personal dreams is to actually be in the business.
Oh, one of your personal dreams, Henry, is to be in a porno film?
Yeah. Why begrudge a man his dream, Wally?
Boy, Henry, I'll tell you, you have wonderful ambitions, don't you?
Oh, I do. I think I'm proud of it. I think Mr. Margold
Don't call him mister. Call him what he is, scum.
will make a greater contribution to society than you ever will.
Tell me one thing good that pornography does.
Well, what I call it is a bloodletting of the soul. People can only enjoy life when they truly learn to enjoy their sexuality.
A bloodletting of the soul. Boy, now I've heard everything. Boy, oh boy. Okay, Henry. His big ambition, Frank, is to be in the porno film. Well,
No,
listen,
he wants to create in the porno industry.
Well, why don't you let him?
I'm going to do my very best to let him do it. I encourage anybody who thinks that they can create, they can
Henry.
always send to me whatever they want, and I will try and get them a chance, give them a chance to air their opinions,
Henry
Wally.
sounds like he might be a good star for one of your movies.
I don't think Henry wants to go in front of the camera. He prefers to write. He's a very sensitive man. I've read 2 of his articles. They both run in the Hollywood Press. I was very impressed.
Nobody who has any sensitivity.
Tremendous amounts of
Nobody
sensitivity.
who has any sensitivity would want to be in your crummy business. Nobody. Let's go to the next caller. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, this is Tony.
Hello, Tony.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
I just want to say that I think you got this guy out of the gutter,
I certainly did.
and you should put him back in the gutter so I can run him over.
Well, what do you think about the pornography industry?
I think it's disgusting and it makes me sick. My husband took me to an X-rated movie once just because I was curious, and it made me sick, and I walked out.
Sex made you sick?
Yes.
What?
No, the movie. I think it's disgusting.
What movie was it? Do you remember?
Deep Throat.
Deep Throat made you sick? That innocuous, giggling motion picture made you sick?
Listen, I went in, when Deep Throat first came out, I do not believe in bringing anything down unless I see it with my own eyes, so I went and paid $5 to go and see Deep Throat. I know what this lady is talking about. I know, Tony, what you're saying. I sat there, Margold, for about 7 minutes. And what I saw on that screen was so disgusting.
What was disgusting about oral sex?
Oral sex. And what I saw...
Does Tony indulge in oral sex?
Wait a minute. It's none of your damn business what she does. Now, you see, you're trying to drag her down
I'm not dragging anybody
into your
down.
gutter.
And I enjoy being in the gutter. If I came up on the sidewalk, I'd be in your level, Raleigh, and that's a bore.
But like Tony, what I saw on the screen was so sickening and so disgusting. After 7 minutes, I got out of there.
Let me recommend Deep Throat 2 to Tony. I think she'd enjoy that a little bit more.
Well, I just think it's disgusting.
What's disgusting about
that
sex?
you make money off something so disgusting. I mean, that must excite you to make.
No, I don't do it for money, Tony. I do it for glory. I do it for glory.
You know why?
Immortality.
You probably do it because it's the only way that you can see a naked woman.
I think so.
Okay.
I saw 10,000 of them in 10 years, Wally.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I prefer them with clothes on.
That's the only way that he can find a woman is to hire her for one of his porno flicks. Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead.
This is Paul from Paul's Verde.
Yes, Paul, go ahead.
I'd like to ask your king of porn a question.
Go ahead.
Anything you'd like to know.
Bill Margold.
Yeah, I'd like to know if he has any qualms about corrupting the young minds.
I'm not corrupting the young minds. I think that the family corrupts the young mind by lying to them about sex. I think that society basically corrupts the young mind by preventing them from learning about sex. No one drags children into X-rated theaters. No one forces pornography down children's throats.
To it
The thing is, how did you learn about sex?
from friends.
Okay. Do you believe that you learned properly? Did you believe you learned correctly?
Yeah, 'cause I'm not a sicko like you.
Why am I a sicko?
Hey, hold on, Bill.
He asked me a
No,
question.
first, I want to interrupt you a minute. Do you really think that kids can learn from watching your videos about sex?
I think they can be entertained.
If they watch your videos, young kids, they're not going to learn. They're going to be perverted. Their minds are going to be twisted and warped. Don't
They
you?
can watch the newsreel and get twisted and warped.
What do you think about kids watching porno films, caller? What's your first name, by the way?
Paul.
Okay, Paul, what do you think about, and you say they haven't got access to them. Yes, they do, because...
Sure they have access to
When I
them.
was a kid, there was.
Yeah, well, they can get a hold of those videos.
I'm not saying they can't get a hold of them, but they should put their trust in John Leslie rather than Ronald Reagan. At least John Leslie's honest.
Well, I'll tell you, they certainly should not be watching what you're putting out. And kids do get a hold of your videos, and it does hurt them psychologically.
No one ever died from an overdose of pornography. I keep on saying that. And there's nothing sick about healthy sex.
Your kind of sex that you have in your films is not healthy.
What's not healthy about heterosexual and occasionally homosexual sex between consenting adults?
You are not, we in this country are not supposed to be watching people indulging in hideous sexual
Then
practices.
we should all be blind, deaf, and dumb.
No. Sex should be practiced by
in the dark, under sheets, under a bed, in a tomb.
I'm turning you off for a second, so I made my point. Sex should be practiced by two people who love each other, who are married behind closed doors. Wally George, I'll be right back.
Most talked about talk show host on television and radio, Wally George.
Yeah. Thank you, Stoney. Okay, thank you very much. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you much. Welcome back. Thank you, Stoney Richards, for that great introduction. Really, he did a good job on that. We welcome you. I'm Wally George, and we're here every Monday night, normally from 7 until 10, the Wally George Great American Radio Show. Next Monday, we'll be on a little late. We'll be on at approximately 10 o'clock following the Lakers game. So be on board for that. And then I'll be following at 10 o'clock, approximately 10 o'clock, from 10 o'clock until 1 a.m. next Monday. Then the following week, we'll be back to our regular time, 7 until 10 p.m. from now and for the rest of eternity. We will be here. Our great producer, Frank Pollock, we have in studio, I'm sorry to say, and we're still spraying heavily with Lysol. We have William Margold, who produces and stars in his own porno films, and he gets these poor young girls in all kinds of trouble by starting them off on a sordid lifestyle.
Yes, that's a miserable way to make money, isn't it?
You know what I've said, Bill, for a long time, sex is not a spectator sport.
Of course it is.
It is to be shared by two people behind closed doors who love each other. That's what sex is all about.
Sex is an entertainment, an amusement, and people take it way too deathly serious for its own good.
It's not an entertainment. It's an expression of love. Do you know what love is?
Yes, I do know what love is. I love the X-rated industry. I love the family of X. I love to preach the gospel of X. I firmly believe in what I do.
Love is one four-letter word, Margold, that you don't know anything about. You know all about the other four-letter words.
Lust.
But you don't, and the others, but you don't know about love. You don't know, because if you did, you wouldn't be doing the junk that
I
you're
am
doing.
very much in love with what I do for a living. I'm very much in love with the lady I'm living with now named Viper.
Viper?
Viper.
And I suppose she's...
The notorious Viper, a woman who does it all and basks in the glory of it.
And she stars in some of your films,
Absolutely.
Right? And you let her do that?
I worship the fact that she does.
Can you imagine?
More power to her. She has a chance to express herself.
Do you love her?
Very, very much.
Very, and so you don't mind seeing her entire body exposed?
I'm flattered by it. And in fact, her body is very well worth exposing. She's an ex-Marine, an ex-member of the American Ballet Theater.
You don't mind that every part of
every particle and every pore
of her body is
Absolutely.
exposed, and the woman you love, you don't mind that she's exposed in that way.
And as she said to me after I performed sex in 2 movies recently with Patti Petite and Gail Force, she enjoys my making love to beautiful women.
Well, I'll tell you, you really are the worst.
I am the best.
Let me read this this is from Dr. S.A. Green, who did a study on pornography and some of the terrible things that happened. He said that he describes in detail, I can't read you the whole thing, but he describes in detail 5 cases of priests who were caught molesting boys. They all had hundreds of porno magazines and videos in their home.
And the Bible as well.
But, you see, they were entrapped. They were lured to do these filthy things because...
Pornography made them do it?
Yes.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
Well, do you think the Bible...
No one forces anybody to look at pornography.
Do you think the Bible made them
I wouldn't doubt it. The Bible probably frustrated them to a sense that they had no choice but to do it.
You fail to accept the fact that psychologist after psychologist, psychiatrist after psychiatrist who have interviewed and examined sex offenders, molesters, rapists, all tell you that they are collectors and viewers of pornography, and they will tell you, Margold, that yes, by watching this kind of junk, these porno videos, it does excite them, and it does make them feel excited, and from watching these videos and so forth. But wait a minute, they go out on the streets to find a way to have their sexual frustrations relieved. So what you're doing, these videos that you're selling, these guys get all worked up like these priests, and they go out after watching these videos and they commit some sex crime.
Yes, but it's interesting to note that the Mies Commission had its own detractors. When the Mies Commission said there was a connection between violence and pornography, there were women on the commission itself who refused to acknowledge the fact that it does exist.
Well, the
reports are only one-sided, Wally. Let's see something positive for porno. God, no, nothing positive for porno.
There is nothing positive about porno.
There most certainly is. It's a catharsis. It gets America off. The poor, lonely man who can achieve no other sexual satisfaction can get off that way.
When I was a kid, pornography was illegal. You couldn't get it except from across the border in Tijuana. Porno magazines could not be sold on the streets. Porno films could not be bought. People who sold them had to sell them out of the trunks of their cars.
But it became commonplace because America wanted to see it.
No, it's because people like you corrupted America.
America wants it.
You corrupted the morals.
They revel in it.
I repeat, you people corrupted the morals of America.
If they didn't want their morals corrupted, we would not be able to do it.
Let's go back to Orange County. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, this is Ron from Norwalk.
Yes, Ron?
How you doing, Wally?
Pretty good.
I just want to express I'm totally against pornography. I think pornography is not sex. I think it's sexual perversion.
Good for you.
And I also feel that pornography can work against people. It could be very dangerous if it is used abusively. It can actually work as a drug, just the way people are hooked on the drugs. People can get hooked on pornography. And I am not against sex. Sex is beautiful and wonderful.
That's right.
God created sex.
That's the same way I feel.
But God created sex as a part of a plan for procreation and for the recreation of the husband and wife.
And Ron, I'm glad
that sounds rather restrictive.
I'm glad, Ron, that you brought up that particular point, because you are right. People can get hooked on porno. There have been many articles from these same articles that I was just reading from, where they say men will get hooked on it. They can't live without it. They buy more and more of these videos, get more and more turned on, and go out and commit more and more sex crimes.
That's right. And I feel there's nothing wrong with the act of sex. Sex is beautiful, but also a lot of pornographers like to use the excuse, well, God created the body nude. What's wrong with looking at nude women and people? But when God created Adam and Eve, when they fell from God's grace and transgressed against his laws, they felt ashamed of their bodies, and they covered themselves up.
We're trying to make America not so ashamed.
What's that?
We're trying to make America feel less ashamed by exposing the body in interesting ways.
Yeah, but that's it. That's the point. You're trying to go against the actual plan of what God created sex for, and that's why there's so many emotionally disturbed and physically diseased people going around today.
If God had not wanted a sex recorded, he would not have invented the video camera.
Well, he didn't invent it. Man invented it.
But God created man.
Well, the man is using his own will to do whatever he pleases.
Well, are you going to restrict every form of creativity?
I'm not restricting anything. I'm just telling you what pornography does to people.
What did it do to you?
What it does to me, it makes me sick because it makes me feel that there's a lot of men with no backbone who can make commitments to women without going around acting like a dog.
Well, not everybody can have a partner. There are a lot of lonely people in the world.
Well, there's always a male for every woman. They just need to have time and patience to go out and be bold enough.
It's not as easy as you think, friend.
All you're doing is just going out the easy route because you don't have the guts to make commitments to people.
And Ron, think about the young kids who get their hands on these 6 porno, and like you said, they portray men as nothing more than dogs, animals.
What they are.
That's exactly what they are. Ron, God bless you. You have a lot of good common sense. Thanks for your call. Let's go back to Los Angeles. You're on the air. Hello?
Yes, sir?
Who's this?
Britt.
Who?
Britt.
Britt?
Yes, sir. I've been waiting for about 5-6 minutes
Okay,
now.
You're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Britt.
Yes, hello, Wally. I'm from Westwood. I'd like to ask Bill this question.
Yes,
Sure.
Britt.
Bill, how is it, even in speaking with Wally and to the audience, can you condone homosexual acts when you know that for years and years and years and decades, gays have been carriers of very virulent sexually transmitted diseases, and knowing this, how do the actors and actresses in your profession guard against this?
The actors and actresses in my profession, which is a very insulated world, are probably far healthier per capita than any other walk of life in the world. As I told the Mies Commission, you don't want to build a house with a broken hammer. We inspect our own genitalia on a regular basis. We go to the doctors on a regular basis. We are the fact that I am not bisexual. Had I not had a bad experience when I was 16 years old, I might be bisexual, because James Dean himself said, why go through life with one hand tied behind your back?
Well,
but I'm quite happy in my closet, and I don't condemn homosexuality in my business.
But you do have in your films, don't you, bisexual acts?
Yes, we do. And the bisexual acts, by the way, have become a very popular medium for couples to take a look at. And women are finally...
For perverts?
No, women are finally getting a chance to see beautiful men in lust and love.
Oh, boy. Hey, Britt, what do you think about that? He has, in his films, he has bisexuals all making love to each other. How does that grab you?
Wally, I'm in disbelief. Bill, let me tell you this. 2 years ago, on our local Group W cable thing, an interviewer was speaking with Ron Jeremy, a very popular actor in your profession.
Yes, nicknamed the Hedgehog.
That's right. And he pointed out that indeed the actors and actresses are very aware and ensure that they do constantly get tests and what have you. But just as Wally does, I've gone to X-rated films, and I've also gone to a peep parlor on Hollywood Boulevard, and sure enough, there were 2 gays engaging in homosexual sex without a condom. Now, how can you possibly advocate that? In that instance, the gentleman didn't guard against it.
Well, as sarcastic as it may seem, if you're unhealthy, you deserve to be dead.
Oh, gosh. But you see what he's trying to say. What he's trying to say, Bill, is you are, by these bisexual acts, now you are not only doing immoral things by showing pornography between male and female, now you're encouraging homosexuality and bisexuality with these films.
I'm encouraging freedom of sexual expression between consenting adults. They know what they want to do. I'm not going to inhibit them in any way, shape, or form.
All right. Back to our phones. Let's go to Orange County. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Wally. This is Randy from Huntington Beach.
Yes, Randy.
Yeah, nice to be on your show tonight.
Thank you.
I'm a long-time listener.
Thank you.
Now, I am on Margold's side, okay?
It's okay. Go ahead. If you want to be sick, go ahead.
Well, I'm not sick, and I don't always watch it, but sometimes I do, okay?
Well, why do you watch porno? I mean, why do you have to watch that kind of sick stuff?
Well, sometimes it's enjoyable. You're having a party. There are a lot of people around that enjoy it, and, you know, it kicks up the party.
Well,
but the point I wanted to make, Wally, okay?
Yeah.
You know, government said that, you know, under the First Amendment that, you know, government will enact no laws to suppress freedom of speech. And are you going to suppress what people want to watch in the privacy of their own home?
Well,
this is between consenting adults, Wally.
Well, what I'm saying is those freedoms have been greatly abused by people like Bill Margold. I'm sure when our founding fathers wrote all of those rights, they did not envision in their wildest imagination that people like Margold would be doing the kind of filthy, degrading things that they're doing.
On the contrary, I think they did.
No, they didn't. This is Wally George on KLAC, the Wally George Great American Radio Show. We're here every week on Monday nights from 7 until 10. Next week we'll be on at 10 o'clock approximately following the Rams game. We're talking about pornography. How do you feel about it? If you want to call me in the 213 or the 818 area code and write these numbers down. If the lines are busy, they're bursting off the walls, by the way. If the lines are busy, write these numbers down and keep on trying because you'll get through when somebody hangs up. In Los Angeles, the San Fernando Valley, 213 or the 818 area code. It's 520-KLAC, 520-KLAC. The 714 area code out in Orange County, 977-KLAC, 977-KLAC. William Margold, Porno King, is here. Yeah. And we will be right back. Stay where you are. Out of here. Bill Margold, porno producer and star, of course. He stars in his own films. Nobody else would hire him. We're taking your phone calls. How do you feel about porno? You know, a few minutes ago I said that I'd be on next Monday after the Rams game.
Are you crazy?
Yeah, I must be. No, I meant after the Lakers game. So we'll be on after the Lakers game next Monday, approximately 10 p.m. Let's go back to our phones now. The subject is pornography. What do you think? Do you think it's sick like I do, and do you think it should be outlawed, or do you agree with this vermin here who goes by the name of Bill Margold? Hello, you're on the air.
Yeah, Wally?
Yes.
Hi, this is Greg from Rolling Hills, and
yes.
I have a question for Margold.
Go ahead.
I was wondering if you think that it's fair to your family to be in this business.
I don't live my life for my family. They don't live their life for me.
Well, would you respect your family members if they were involved in the business?
Certainly, if they're over 18, they can do whatever they want.
He has no respect. I mean, can't you tell it? He has no respect.
Yeah, it's true, Wally.
He has
no respect for who? I have respect for myself. I have respect for my co-workers.
You have no decency. You have no dignity.
Your co-workers really deserve respect.
My co-workers are family. Yes, they do. They deserve respect, and they deserve your admiration and your esteem. They are stars. They
do you
are
have
legends.
any children, Bill?
Yes. I have a 20-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old daughter.
And they know, do both of them know what kind of business you're in?
Absolutely.
Your 10-year-old knows?
Yeah, Goldie Bear knows. Goldie Bear knows and gets a big kick out of it.
If I had my way, I would take those kids away from you. That's what I would do.
You're welcome to them. I don't live with my children.
See, he doesn't even care about his kids.
I accept absolutely no responsibility except for myself.
Are you divorced?
A couple of times.
Okay, boy, I'll tell you, the guy is something. Doesn't even care about his kids. The heck with them. Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello.
Oh.
Who's this?
Wally?
Yeah, what's your first name?
Yeah, this is Dennis from Los Angeles.
Yes, Dennis, go ahead.
Yeah, I was calling, I see, about the pornography, I see both sides of the moral issue. I think, for one thing, that little kids who watch this stuff or whoever might get exposed, you know, that's the bad part.
It's going to corrupt their minds?
I don't think little kids even understand
it.
Yeah,
I don't think kids, you know, you got to consider the young audience, and also whether Brian knows it or not, or accepts it or not, pornography is like a promotion for prostitution.
Sure it is.
And all those women, you know, a number of prostitutes, they're getting paid to do sex.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely not. They are the furthest thing in the world from prostitutes.
No, they aren't. No,
absolutely. Well, for that matter, anybody who earns money is a prostitute, Wally.
Anybody who
earns money entertaining is a prostitute.
Wait a minute. Anybody who takes money for acts of sex That's a prostitute. And you pay girls to perform acts of sex in front of a camera, so what are they? They're prostitutes.
They are actresses. They are performers. They are stars.
Don't you agree, Dennis? They're prostitutes.
That's true, but all right, now on the other side, pornography in some cases can be educational. You know, I had a sister that worked in the video store.
Your sister worked in a video store?
Yeah, she worked in the video store.
And she liked those things?
No, no, she just worked there. Okay, I'm saying she would see married couples and stuff come in and rent, you know, not hardcore, but sensuous tapes, you know, to get, you know.
Well, that's not going to help their marriage. It's just going to.
Of course it is.
No,
it's going to enlighten them.
It's going to hurt their marriages.
You know, but on that case, you know, it might be all right. But then again, you got to consider the young audiences. You know, the kids, they get to it. Their parents aren't always around to watch them.
You're right, pal. But listen, I say even married people, it's, you know, if their marriage is in trouble, they're not going to solve their marital problems by going out and getting a porno video. The problems are still going to be there.
What's wrong with a little thrill?
Oh, thrill. Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, Wally.
Who's this?
Well, it's Joseph from Anaheim.
Joseph?
I want to tell you, I think that pornography is an abomination to mankind. I couldn't agree with you more. I've murdered 3 pornography dealers.
Huh?
I'm going to do it again.
You've murdered.
He's trying to be funny. He thinks he's a funny. That isn't even funny, pal. That isn't even a little bit humorous. Ridiculous thing to say. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, Wally.
Yeah, who's this?
This is Adriana from L.A.
Yes, Adriana.
I want to tell that sicko that you have there. You know, in Mexico, where I come from, sex is very natural, just like going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay?
That sounds about right.
Hey, listen, you don't go into detail how you use the bathroom. You know, how you have your bowel movements. And that's the same thing with sex. You don't have to discuss them, even though it's real natural.
It seems to me that Mexico is where the Donkey Act was created.
Oh, come on. Yeah, by sickos like you.
Ever hear of the Blue Fox?
Sickos like you.
I see. What's sick about sex?
Well, what she's saying is she's making a very valid point. What she's saying is you certainly would not want to see on film the act of going to the bathroom.
If you liken sex to acting going to the bathroom, there's something wrong with everyone's mind.
Listen.
That's a private thing, and so is sex, Margot.
Exactly. It's very private, and whatever makes you go to the bathroom, more power to you, and whatever makes you come when you have sex, more power to you, but you don't have to tell everybody.
That's right.
You know, when you're an adult, that comes natural, like you say, you know?
You don't talk about it, and you don't...
Exactly. You know, don't tell
No one's forcing you to watch.
And, you know, it's the same thing for the very same reason that you are not allowed to walk down the street naked. You could not go out, Margot, on your front lawn and have love with your stupid woman because you'd be arrested because of an obscene act. The same exact thing is true when you put it on a video or a film. Don't you agree, Adriana?
Those videos are sickening. You know, I have a 17-year-old daughter.
A 17-year-old?
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, even in school and everything, they find it so disgusting. They say that adults are making sex sickening, repulsive.
Yep, you're right. You know what?
Well, what are you going to do with your 17-year-old daughter when she wants to know what sex is all about?
Hey, let her learn with love from her boyfriend or her husband.
Certainly not. And certainly not from your videos.
Like you telling her how to do it with 2 different men.
Why begrudge her the chance to learn?
To learn perversion?
What's perversion?
Get out of here. To learn your degrading, despicable way of sex? Get out of here, Margot. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, Wally?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Jeff from San Clemente.
Yes, Jeff?
And I've been listening to this conversation that's been going on about pornography.
Yes.
And I have to agree with you just about everything you said.
Thank you.
I mean...
do you want to say anything to Bill Margot?
Not really. I really don't want to talk to that low life form. But one point I'd like to make is that he's been bringing up the Constitution and that, you know, it's protected under the right of freedom of speech.
Yeah, speak up. I can hardly hear you.
Yeah, he's been talking about the Constitution.
Yeah.
And how it's, you know, pornography is supposedly protected under the right of speech in America.
Right.
Well, I think when the framers wrote the Constitution, I don't think they intended for the Constitution to be used in that manner.
That's exactly what I said just a few minutes ago. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of absurd.
Our freedoms have been abused by people like Bill Margot. Don't you agree?
Oh, I agree with you, definitely.
Thank you very much for your call. I appreciate it very much. Yes, Los Angeles, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, Bill. Wally.
Yeah, who's this?
Yeah, this is Steve from L.A.
All right, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say something to that egotistical weasel.
Bill Margold.
Thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah, well, I want to say porno is not a catharsis, but a depressant. The music is dumb, the plots are stupid, the dialogue is lame.
I see you've seen a lot of them.
And it makes sex boring. And you'll never be a director of the stature of David Lynch or Sergio Leone or George Houston. You always...
Who the hell's George Houston?
You know who he is.
No, I don't.
John Houston.
Thank you. Get your names right. Then
You'll
we'll
always just be a little nobody making these cheap little porno movies, making your little small profits, and you'll never be anywhere because sex can only go as far. It doesn't go too far if you just have a movie strictly...
You speak from a tremendous lack of experience. You haven't seen enough of them to know what you're talking about.
Tell me one good porno movie of
The opening of Misty Beethoven, Take Off, Every Woman Has a Fantasy, Sexually Altered States, Deep Throat 2.
Hey, Steve, hold on.
You haven't even seen Deep Throat 2. It's impossible.
Deep Throat
2. Deep Throat 2. I'm talking about a sequel, Deep Throat 2.
Hold on. Steve, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, Steve, listen to me. You made a very valid point, and I want to agree with you here. I wish I'd have brought that up. Margot, he made a very good point. The reason you're in this business is because you're not good enough to be in a legitimate film industry. You're not talented enough or clever enough to be in a legitimate motion picture industry. So the only way...
But the legitimate world is more corrupt than my world.
Your talents are only good enough to be in the gutter. That's why you're doing what you're doing.
That's not true.
Because you haven't got enough talent to go anywhere else. Do you agree with me, Steve?
Yeah, it's just a capitalist exploitation.
Oh, well, that's not capitalistic because I'm not in it for money. You haven't listened to this show.
Okay, let's go back to Orange County. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, Wally.
Who's this?
This is Jeff from Anaheim.
Okay, Jeff.
Yeah, listen, I had a question about some stuff here. You know, in the wake of all these movies about like Rambo and First Blood and Death Before Dishonor and all these movies about death and killing and stuff.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I would think that porno would in some way be healthy.
Well, I'll tell you what. Excessive violence to me is pornography. I mean, yes. I think when you see people getting blown up and their heads split open and their arms chopped off and blood and guts all over the screen, that's just as bad as perverted sex that Margold has with his women in whips and chains and in all of these poses, their bodies in every possible angle. Yeah, but I agree with you. I think that violence and stuff like that is just as bad. It's still pornography. It's all the same horrible stuff. Wally George here on KLAC, the Wally George Great American Radio Show. We'll be right back with your phone calls. Stay where you are. Here, the Wally George Great American Radio Show exclusively on KLAC, the best country music station in the whole nation. Remember, 24 hours a day, we have country music here, and then on Monday nights, we talk on my show. Be with me every Monday and tell your friends to join us. I want to hear from you. Write to me. Grab a pencil. I'll give you my address. Love to hear that you're joining me here on KLAC. Write to me. I will answer your letter. I read every letter I get. I answer every one. If you like, I will send you out a porno producer and actor who stars in his own trash is here on the show for a little while longer. Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Ron from Van Nuys, and I wanted to talk to Bill.
Go ahead.
Okay, you know how these people in the porno business are always saying that no, they'd never show any films to kids. And what I wanted to know is if there's nothing wrong with pornography, if it's not bad, then why are they afraid to show it to kids?
What do you mean afraid to show it to kids? We firmly believe that the stuff should be watched by people over 18 years old. And after that, it's a total freedom of choice.
Well, why not show it to people under 18 if there's nothing wrong with it?
Because supposedly under 18 are restricted by certain moralistic and sociological statements.
All right, I'm going to ask you, Bill, if you had your way, would you let any kids at any age watch pornography?
From 13 on, yes.
From 13 on, you'd let them watch porn?
Because they're going to have a healthier view of sex if they see it from 13 on than they would learning it in the gutter where you think my business is.
By watching your stuff, they are learning about it in the gutter.
Oh, no, they're not. They're learning about it on a rarefied situation.
No, they're not. They're learning about it because what you're showing is not really beautiful sex.
How do you know? You condemn my titles, you condemn my industry, when in fact...
I've seen the kind of stuff that you do. You don't portray sex as a thing of love and beauty. You portray it as animalistic, as two people lusting.
But sex is animalistic.
And you show all kinds of kinky things.
There's nothing wrong with a little kink. There's nothing wrong with a little spice in your life.
Kinkiness, whips, chains.
It isn't real. It's pretend. It's entertainment.
Yeah, but you make it real, and you...
What do you mean we make it real?
By what you do, you are enticing people to do that kind of thing in their sex life.
Again, I state it's a catharsis.
No, when people watch your kind of films and they see women being chained to their beds and lashed and spanked and whipped
and you don't think that goes on in society without watching our stuff?
And handcuffed, you're encouraging people to try that kind of perversion, and that's perverted sex.
I'm not encouraging any more than Bubba Smith when we did a talk show a long time ago, Wally, if you remember the Alan Thicke show, and I said that Bubba Smith does not encourage people going out to play tackle football any more than I do encourage people getting tied up.
You can't compare that at all, but do you really think that what sex is it's okay to do things like handcuff yourself to a bed, have women chained and maybe spanked and
Between
beaten?
consenting adults, anything goes.
You don't think that's perverted or sick?
No, I don't.
No, boy, you're really over the hill, pal. Now I take it back. He shouldn't be put away in the slammer. He should be put away in a mental home. That's where he belongs. Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Am I in the air?
Who's this?
This is Ted in Buena Park.
Yes, Ted, go ahead.
Wally, I'm kind of puzzled. If you're against pornography, against all the way you express it, why you bring a guest like that on a show? Everybody knows Bill Margot, and you're still bringing in to promote your show. That's all I can see it.
I am bringing Bill Margot, and the reason I have guests on my show is to expose them for the danger. I've had Bill on my television show, and every time I have him and people like him on, I bring him on so he can dig a hole for himself and show you the kind of pervert, the kind of animal that he is. I bring these people on because if you don't hear it from the horse's mouth, then you don't know how dangerous pornography is. I've been campaigning against pornography for years and years and years and years, but unless you hear it from the people. Now, you see, the things he's been saying tonight, he thinks it's okay to have women lashed and bound together and acts of perversion and acts of
there are acts of perversion in your eyes, Wally.
And oh, sir, sure, he hung up now because he had no answer for me. But you see, the reason I have Margot on and people like him, I want you to know what these people are doing to our society. I want you to know what these people are doing to our morality. I want you to know why I feel they should be put out of business once and for all. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, Wally. This is Rick from Sherman Oaks.
Yes, Rick.
First, I want to say I respect you, and I don't respect your guest.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask your guest, what's his name?
My name is Bill Margold.
Bill, I'd like to know what happened to the ex-porno star Joe Pine. Is he still around?
All right, get off of here. This guy's out of his mind. You little... Okay, yes, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello. Hello, you're on the air.
Oh, yeah, I would like to... I've been listening to your show.
Yes?
And I want you to know that I kind of agree with you a little and agree with him, but my wife and me, when we were having some bad problems, and I picked up a copy of one of Mr. Marigold's movies. You would Judge Ballou, right? Ballou?
Yes. That's in a thing called Divorce Court Expose. It's it's designed for couples. It's a definitive ripoff of the TV series Divorce Court with legitimately good acting by Wayne Stevens, Jerry Butler, Ron Jeremy, Siobhan Hunter, directed by Vinnie Rossi and written by Cherie Marie. I did play a judge, and I enjoyed it. There's a second part coming out in March, or I believe in April or May.
So you're saying that you saw Margold's porno film and you enjoyed it?
Well, I must say that it helped my wife and myself are arguing a lot, and I think it was because of sexual tension.
You were arguing a lot, and Margold's porno film stopped your arguing?
I would see how that one would do it.
It helped us out a little bit, yeah, I must say.
How did it help you? Tell me, I'm curious, how did it help you?
It sexually stimulated me.
It sexually stimulated you? And did it sexually stimulate your wife?
Oh, yes, most assuredly. By all means, as a matter of fact, it did.
It's a Vidco product.
If you have to turn to porno if you and your wife have to turn to porno to get turned on, then, my friend, you're in real bad shape, Rick.
Well, Mr. George, I'm just an average, everyday person, to tell you the truth.
I don't think so. I think you're an average, everyday pervert.
Well,
Thank you very much for your call.
Why condemn
and you're
your
out
listeners?
of here. Okay, yes, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Jana from Pomona.
Yes.
And I would like to talk to that filthy scumbag,
Go ahead.
Bill Margle.
Go ahead.
Anything you like.
He was talking about the glory and the honor and the self-respect that these stars get. Well, I'd like to hear the story about Vanessa Williams and, you know, her glory that she got when she
Vanessa Williams and Penthouse. Okay, let me tell you about Vanessa Williams and Penthouse magazine. If you really believe that she was taken advantage of, then you have no idea about what publicity and public relations is all about. Vanessa Williams was a very attractive black woman who became Miss America, and at the same time knew that she'd only last there for a year. But if she could do something to perpetuate her image and magnify her own glory, she would then become legend, and she
But
did.
Bill, you do take advantage of people like...
No, I do
yes,
not.
These young girls, they come into town, and and they're starving to death.
We already went through this.
Just a minute. They come into town, they're starving to death, they're looking for some kind of easy work, and you entice them into it, and before they know it, they're porno prostitutes.
That's wrong, because I can get them work in any number of other areas before they take their clothes off.
Yeah, but what about this, you said that she has glory for the rest of her life?
Yes.
You still didn't answer my question. You said public relations and all this bullcrap.
I guarantee you that entire thing between her and Penthouse was prefabricated it was already pre-planned.
Oh, baloney.
Her downfall was pre-planned.
She really desired to give up her crown as Miss America.
Of course she did, because that would only last 1 year. 1 year. Do you really and honestly believe that she had much of a future after that year?
Oh, I'm sure she did. A lot of women do. They go on to be top models and things like that.
That's right.
Not Miss Americas.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Lots of them do. I've
a
read
lot of
about
them disappear into total anonymity.
I believe this young lady, I believe Vanessa Williams was taken advantage of. I think that they happened to catch her at a time that she was probably lured by some slime like you because she was hard up for money, and then they capitalized on it, and they used her and ruined her by bringing up these pictures. Yes, I agree with this caller. She was used. What's that? Yes.
I want to say one thing before I go, and that is that I really think this guy is a jerk, and he needs to be put away in a mental hospital, just like you said. He needs to go back to the gutter.
You're absolutely right. Thank you for your call. And if I have my way, he'll be in there by tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Hello, you're on the air.
Yes, I'd like to ask a question of the creep.
Go ahead. The creep is waiting to take your call.
Absolutely, with bated breath.
Creep Margot.
Thank you.
Why don't you admit that the reason why you do these things that you do is either out of hatred for women or just contempt for human beings?
What would you like me to admit? Which one do you want me to answer first? That I hate women or that I have contempt for human beings?
Which one is it?
I have contempt for stupid human beings, and I also have contempt for some stupid women who ask me stupid questions. So that might answer all your questions
well,
at one time.
Well, if you're talking about me, you're not fit to shine my shoes.
Why did you start off by telling me that I was a creep?
Because you are. You're filled with hatred. Listen to the way you talk. You're filled with hatred.
What defines creep?
Well, you rebel against society.
Yes, I rebel. I'm damn well happy to rebel, too.
Well, why doesn't somebody rebel against you? You're the one that's rubbing mud in everyone's
Let them take their best shot. That's what I'm up here for.
You see, maybe...
Well, listen to the hatred in his voice. He doesn't even care about his own kids.
It's called
competition. About whether they lived or died.
He
don't even care. What is lower than a man that doesn't care about his own kids, doesn't care whether they live or die?
The most important person in the world is you yourself.
You have a responsibility to your children.
I have a responsibility only to myself.
It is your responsibility to take care of those children which you bring into the world.
It is most certainly not my responsibility.
He should never have...
You shouldn't have brought them into the world.
It was a prearranged situation.
What do you think? Who do you think is supposed to take care of them? Do you think the welfare department?
The women who got pregnant wanted to be pregnant.
You got her pregnant.
Yes, they wanted the children.
Why should she have to take care of them all by herself, work an 18-hour day, and live in poverty?
Neither woman is living in poverty.
So why should she have to take care of them all by herself? Why should the woman have to take care of them all by herself?
They elected. Why don't you...
God made a man and a woman, or whatever it is that made us.
Let me tell you something. What I think is, I think he has contempt and hatred for decent women like you.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Wally George here on KLAC, the Wally George Great American Radio Show. We'll be right back. More phone calls. Stay there. Right. Need a Pepto-Bismol after this interview. William Margold, porno producer and actor who stars in his own sick porno films, is our guest. We'll take him up till 9 o'clock, and then we'll try to change the subject before I get violently ill. Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello, you're on the air.
Okay. I want to know, what if a lady come on the street, come to your film, and find out that she have AIDS? What you gonna do about that?
What are you asking me?
What if a lady come out to one of your films, and you have sex with her, and you find out that she have
AIDS?
Exposed to AIDS?
Yes. What would you like me to do? Put a bullet in her? What are you telling me?
Well, what he's saying is that there's a strong possibility that some of the women that you have on may be AIDS carriers.
Yes, so?
And so you may be, by what you're doing, helping to spread the AIDS disease.
Life is a series of chances.
Oh, yeah. So what's a little AIDS between friends, right?
Like I said, if you're unhealthy, you deserve to be dead.
Well, you're about as unhealthy...
Am I really?
Mentally than I have ever heard.
But am I unhealthy physically?
You're unhealthy mentally and emotionally and spiritually.
Spiritually?
And spiritually.
I am my own God.
Oh, boy. Gee. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, Wally. This is Mark from Long Beach.
Yes.
I think you have an excellent show, and I'd like to say something to our Mr. Porno.
Yes.
First of all, is your name Bill, right?
Bill Margold.
Bill Margold, did you know that Jesus loves you?
Well, that's very nice.
No, I'm serious.
Well, I'm not serious, and
I think you need to go to church.
Oh, don't tell me about Jesus coming, because I'll tell you if he can come twice, I'll put him to work.
That is absolutely disgusting. I've never heard such a terrible... That is the worst thing I've ever heard.
Now, come on, seriously talking.
That's blasphemy.
Oh, you've got to be kidding. Jesus didn't only have his feet washed by Mary, and you know it.
Now, listen. I am not going to have you sit in this in this place and be blasphemous and bring Jesus Christ down to your sick level. I'm not going to have that. That's ridiculous. Hello, you're on the air.
Yes, I agree with that last gentleman. My name's Taffy, and I'm from Orange County.
Yes.
Okay, and I have a question for him. Does he believe in any type of religion?
I believe in myself. If you read my business card, God created man...
I'm not into that perverted shit. I'm sorry, but...
Oh, that's an interesting word to get on the air. I appreciate that. That you belong in that Mexican situation.
Would you answer her question? Do you believe in God?
I believe in myself.
You believe in God?
Read my business card.
You don't have any bylaws or anything like that, right?
Bylaws? What are you talking about? What?
10 Commandments.
Do you believe in the...
Pentecostal, Catholic...
I believe in the New York Yankees and the Detroit Lions.
I don't care. They all say the same thing.
What do they
not
say?
Commit adultery. Okay?
There's nothing saying about do not entertain.
He doesn't care, though, you see, Kathy, because he doesn't believe in God.
Taffy?
Yes.
Taffy is interesting. That's a nickname of Viper. I like that.
Now listen, Taffy.
Good name.
Don't make me throw up, okay?
Listen, he is not going to go along
with the other situation you just stated.
Just a minute, Bill. He does not believe in God. He says that there is no God. That you think you're God, Bill?
There's only a God when the Yankees and Lions win.
So you're an atheist, too?
Essentially. I believe in myself. My card says God created man, William Margold created himself.
Yeah, but you see, Bill, if you did have any kind of religion in you, which you don't, of course, it's only people who don't believe in God who can get down in the gutter like you.
That's wrong.
Because if you believed in God, and whether you believe in him or not, one day, Margold, you're going to have to meet your maker, and God will look you right in the eye.
And say, let's see some of your films, buddy.
Oh, boy. Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead. This guy is really, really raunchy, sick, perverted. Go ahead.
Okay. My name's Matt from LA, and I'd like to ask him...
Speak loud. I can hardly hear you.
I'd like to ask your guest how he got into that business.
How did you get into the business?
I got into it back in 1972 as a writer. I wanted to be the George Plimpton of pornography and explain to people what happens behind the scenes, and they found out I could do a little more than write.
Like what?
What do you think?
Like be sick.
All right, never mind. You're too young to be even talking about that. All right, if you want to talk to us, here's the numbers in the 213 or the 818 area code. It's 520-KLAC. 520-KLAC for Los Angeles and the San Fernando Valley. In Orange County, it's 714 area code. It's 977-KLAC. 977-KLAC. The topic is pornography. This guy, obviously, he's getting worse and worse. He's digging his hole deeper and deeper and deeper until we're finally really coming down to realizing just how raunchy and rotten he really is. Okay, let's go back to Orange County. You're on the air. Hello. Hello. You're on the air. Sorry, we lost that call. Hello, you're on the air. Hello?
Is this Wally?
Yes, go ahead. You're on the air.
Okay, I wanted to know what you thought about your daughter being an